Welcome to the Add-ons community meeting for May 4th, 2020. Hope everyone is doing well and staying as healthy as possible. We are going to start with quick shout out to some friends of Add-ons. I just wanted to note that in April, we had 14 community members who made 21 code contributions to our Add-ons projects. And I just wanted to say that a lot of those contributions came from outreachy applicants. We had a really strong round of outreachy applicants for this year. We saw a lot of really great contributions from folks, a lot of fearless diving into some gnarly code on the add-on server. We saw a couple of bug fixes come in for things like the reviewer tools for some longstanding issues. So that was really great, and it was wonderful to see. Wish we could give everybody who applied for outreachy a spot. Yeah, and I just want to thank everybody for coming on in and sharing their time with us. It was pretty great. Next, I want to turn to our discussion and update section. This is probably going to be pretty short, so we should have time for questions for most of the meeting or just updates. Last week at our Mozilla monthly all staff meeting, we had a couple of announcements. Number one is that travel and events for the rest of 20 unsurprisingly have been canceled due to concerns around the COVID pandemic. So it's not looking like there's gonna be any sort of, it just looks like it's not gonna be safe for people to gather in large numbers for the rest of the year. And also Mozilla is starting to look at some cost saving measures, and eliminating a travel budget made a lot of sense at the time. So this also means that our January 2021 all hands meeting has been canceled. It doesn't look like we're going to be in a position to get 1,000 people together in January of next year, especially in the US. So yeah, so you can expect to see a lot just continuing having virtual check-ins and meetings. I think our event organizers for the all hands are still working on putting something together for a virtual all hands for June in lieu of the Toronto all hands. I haven't seen any information from that yet, but when that becomes available, I'll share it with this group. Any questions about travel? Okay. As far as I know, the Mozilla Festival, which was rescheduled for March 2021 in Amsterdam, is still on. I haven't heard that that's been canceled at this point. I think probably in the next couple of months, we'll find out a little bit more information if they think they're going to be able to move forward with that, just because March 2021 seems potentially a little aggressive in terms of safety. But that had been on the calendar for March because they weren't able to secure the space in October as usual because they're moving to a new location. So just to kind of demystify that process. The other thing I just wanted to share, I'm not sure if everybody here subscribes to the Mozilla Foundation newsletter, but Mozilla has been nominated for 2 Webby Awards, or a Mozilla funded project has been nominated for 2 Webby Awards. So if you could all do us a big favor and vote for Stealing Your Feelings and for Privacy Not Included for the Webbies, that would be really awesome. I haven't seen Stealing Your Feelings yet, but Privacy Not Included I thought was a really helpful guide that I definitely forwarded to my friends. So if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. It's pretty great. I see that I didn't complete this next sentence, but Firefox 76 will be released tomorrow. With this release, you can use the Firefox Profiler to check out what's going on with some of your blocking web requests and see if it's impacting Firefox performance. We did have a question on the blog come in about how exactly you can check for that. So we are we're going to be able to respond with an answer to that in a little bit. But if you are an extension developer that uses blocking web request, and you would like to give this a try, please do and let us know how it goes. Let us know if it helps you at all. And then 2 other community related things. So last year when we had a lot of security concerns about the add-ons ecosystem, we had kind of made a decision to quietly pull our build your own extension activity that we would promote through our reps and community building channel. Since our security situation has improved over the last year, we decided that we still want people to be aware that they can build browser extensions and to give it a try. So we are looking at resubmitting that. So I just wanted to give everybody here a heads up that they should expect that to go up on the community portal sometime in the near future. Unfortunately, with COVID, it makes it really hard to judge when exactly things are going to happen. But I'm working on, but I'll be working on getting that up and going in the next couple of weeks. So the community portal is something that the Open Innovation team has launched recently. It's kind of like an all-in-one thing where you can build your Mozillians profile. You can explore some campaigns or activities that you can run either as a group or individual. Right now, we're not encouraging people to get together for events for health reasons. But the good news is building a browser extension is something that you can do with friends virtually or just by yourself if that is something that you want to do. So this should be pretty good. And then lastly, I just wanted to flag this post by Lucido, who's one of our recommended extension developers. He was posting about some of his workflows for testing extensions on multiple browsers. And just taking a brief glance at his initial post, it sounded like this could be something that was maybe interesting to some other folks in the community who are trying to test on multiple browsers, and maybe an opportunity to give some feedback or share kind of workflow or see if there's any tools that anybody's building. So that's it as far as our updates are concerned. Otherwise, we're still trucking along and working on getting stuff done that was on our engineering plan. Yeah, are there any questions about any of that stuff or other recent activity, recent events? Okay, cool. Okay, so moving on to questions. Our first question is from BJ. BJ asks, is the 14-day response period helping? It seems like the only effect is to keep bad add-ons listed longer. Have any authors started responding between 3 and 13 days after an information request without being nagged? I do not know the answer to that question. We can certainly investigate and see if it's making, yeah, we can certainly ask our admins who can kind of look into the stats and see if that's helping at all. Happy to take a look. I think that's an interesting point, that if it's only letting bad add-ons be listed longer. Yeah, let me look into that and see if that's actually the effect that this is having, instead of giving people a little bit more breathing time, which I think was the original intent behind that.
Yep, great.
Okay, cool. So let me just flag that for myself. Okay, and then our next question is from Sylvain, who's asked, will Mozilla go forward and implement something around the new spam policy Chrome is currently adding to their store? Let's go take a look at our spam policy FAQ. Oh, interesting. Okay, so repetitive content, submission of repetitive content is prohibited.
It's mostly, yeah, it's new stuff they add in their policy to remove the fact that there's a lot of people putting hundreds and thousands of extensions that are nearly identical with just a little bit of twist to change wallpapers, for example, but it's the same extension, and it's spam there. It creates spam in their store.
In their store. Interesting. I'm gonna call Jorge. Hey, Jorge, I know you're face muted. Jorge, I'm wondering, did you have a chance to take a look at the Chrome spam policy FAQ?
No. Is this
Cool.
related to the thing last week about submitting duplicate extensions or something?
Yeah, so Sylvain was just saying it's like if you have the same underlying code, but it generates like a different kind of wallpaper. It's like repetitive content like that. I don't know if, I'm just curious, like, I don't know if we have had that as much as Chrome has. I don't know.
Andreas would know better, but I mean, even if we get it, to what extent is it a problem? Like, if it's not like polluting our search results, I don't particularly care. Like, I know in the past we had certain developers submitting like hundreds of add-ons that were nearly identical, and then we had to crack down on that. But we did that more in an ad hoc manner rather than having just a general policy of no duplicate stuff. And Google has also other fairly restrictive policies about add-ons, having like a specific about doing one thing rather than doing multiple things and stuff like that we don't. So yeah, they're definitely more restrictive about content, and they probably enforce it automatically, which isn't something we could do easily.
Yeah.
All right.
Just looking at the keyword spam, I feel like this is something we keep an eye on, but we're not quite as prescriptive about it. And we're not like Jorge said, we're not enforcing it programmatically.
Hello.
Yeah, that's, yeah. I don't think that answered your question at all.
It does. It's okay as long as we keep an eye on it. That's good.
Yeah, I think we're keeping an eye on it, but I don't think we've, I mean, we keep the spam, we keep our spam we define spam pretty vaguely because it is constantly shifting, and it just seems like anytime you try to nail it down on one particular or like a particular set of criteria, it seems like the spammers adapt and kind of like pioneer a new thing that you then have to go define and update. So we keep it pretty vague, but it's like the Supreme Court justice once said, like, I can't define pornography, but I know it when I see it. So yeah, when we get reports of spam, we do look into them, and if we find that they're repetitive or that there's repeat offenders, we do investigate and we do take action.
All right, thank you.
Cool. Okay. Are there any other questions? Okay, awesome. All right, short meeting this week. Well, thanks everybody for joining. Keep hanging in there. We'll be back in 2 weeks. And until then, please wash your hands and stay at home. All right, folks. Bye. Take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you.